Hi guys, welcome back to another video. The first video in a new series on this channel, the Halloween Spooktaculars. I'm going to be posting every single day, twice a day, Halloween themed videos until Halloween and 3 days after it. So we have a good cool down period. Today I'm going to be starting by reading a very scary story I've just wrote. I call it The Modern Prometheus, or Frankenstein. Letter 1 to Mrs. Saville, England. St. Petersburg, December 11th, 17. You will rejoice to hear that no disaster has accompanied the commencement of an enterprise which you regarded with such evil forebodings. This is a new character I've been working on. He's like, he's the half narrator of this book, Frankenstein, I've been writing. He's going on a trip to the North Pole, or it might be the South. We never explicitly say in the book. But he's not the main character, you'll be surprised to hear. Shall we continue? I arrived here yesterday, and my first task is to assure my dear sister of my welfare and increasing confidence in the success of my undertaking. These sisters are who he is writing to. There are many sisters, multiple sisters he's writing to. Mrs. Saville, they're all Mrs. Savilles because they're all married, but they all kept their maiden name. He changed his name when he got married. It's a very progressive book. But he calls them all Mrs. Saville as one, as sort of a joke. It's a family joke. I am already far north of London, and as I will walk in the street of Petersburg, I feel a cold northern breeze play upon my cheeks, which braces my nerves and fills me with delight. Do you understand this feeling? Do you all understand this feeling? This breeze, which has travelled from the regions towards which I am advancing, gives me a foretaste of those icy climes. I do explicitly say he's going north here, but that was a joke and is not. Inspirited by this wind of promise, my daydreams become more fervent and vivid. I try in vain to be persuaded that the pole is the seat of frost and desolation. It ever presents itself to my imagination as a region of beauty and delight. There, Margaret, the sun is for ever visible, its broad disk just skirting the horizon. All of his sisters are called Margaret. They were triplets, and their parents only thought of one name. The sun is ever visible, its broad disk just skirting the horizon and diffusing a perpetual splendour. There, with for your leave, my sisters, I will put some trust in preceding navigators. Their snow and frost are banished, and sailing over a calm sea, foreshadowing, because it won't be a calm sea, that's foreshadowing, in literary technique I use here. Its broad disk. Oh, I've read that part. Sorry, I have read that part, but I repeat it twice. It'll make sense later. One of the effects of being in the presence of Frankenstein is mind-altering short-term memory loss. So maybe it's closer than we think. Spoilers. There, with your leave, my sister, I'll put some trust in the preceding navigators. Their snow and frost are banished, and sailing over a calm sea, we may be wafted to a land surpassing in wonders and in beauty every region hitherto discovered on the habitable globe. This place takes place in an alternate universe where the North and South Pole are actually really beautiful, amazing places. They're a bit like heaven. Its productions and features may be without example. As phenomena of the heavenly bodies undoubtedly are in those undiscovered solitudes. What may not be expected in a country of eternal light, I may there discover the wondrous power which attracts the needle, and may regulate 1,000 celestial observations, require only this voyage to render their seeming eccentricity consistent forever. Celestial is pretty important because this starts off as a non-science fiction book, but he goes to space in the end with Frankenstein. Frankenstein can jump really high and they go into space. I shall satiate my ardent curiosity with the sight of a part of the world never before visited, and may tread a land never before imprinted by the foot of man. He says foot of man here because he is a man. Oh. Oh no. No, this isn't happening to me. I think Frankenstein may have affected the recording. As you can probably imagine, this was intended. I thought I'd make the recording kind of involved. Kind of very similar to Frankenstein. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is it frozen? No. No, this can't be happening. This can't be happening to me. No, no, no. No. Why are they doing this? Oh no, I'm not cool. This part of the book gets interesting because I decided to not tell a chronological story. You'll see in a second. There are my enticements, and they are sufficient to conquer all fear of danger or death. And they are sufficient to conquer all fear of danger or death. And they are sufficient to conquer all fear of danger and death. And they are sufficient to conquer the danger of the deaths. And they induce me to commence all fear of danger and death as laborious with the joy of a child when he embarks in a little boat with his holiday mates on an expedition of discovery up his native river. Very important line, because the twist in the end is, this is all in a child's imagination. Get ready, the non-chronological part is coming, and it's going to be big. The youth reflection dispelled the agitation which I began my... Huh? Felix seemed ravished with delight when he saw her. That's PewDiePie. I love PewDiePie. He's my favourite YouTuber, Felix PewDiePie. I put him in my book because I love PewDiePie and I like the videos he makes. I think he's really funny. Felix seemed ravished with delight when he saw her. That's talking about his wife. Every trait of sorrow vanished from his face, and it instantly expressed a degree of ecstatic joy which I could hardly have believed it capable. His eyes sparkled, and his cheeks flushed with pleasure, and at that moment I thought him as beautiful as the stranger. This is to reveal that the main character is gay. She appeared affected by different feelings, wiping a few tears from her lovely eyes. He's not gay, he's bisexual. She held out her hand to Felix, who kissed it rapturously and called her, as I could not distinguish as well as I could distinguish his sweet Arabian. She did not appear to understand him, but smiled. And we're nearly at the ending now, being it non-chronological. We're nearly there. It's nearly all over. Hope you're all ready. We're nearly there. Back to the original narrator now, who's of course not the main character. I think this is a different... Aubrey's weaknesses increased. That's Aubrey from Amori. The effusion of blood produced symptoms of the near approach of death. He desired his sister's guardians might be called. Or, no, it's not a boy. This is a boy, so it's not Aubrey from Amori. He desired his sister's guardians might be called, and when the midnight hour had struck, he related composedly to what the reader had pursued. He denied immediately after. The guardians hastened to protect Miss Aubrey. But when they arrived, it was too late. Lord Ruler had disappeared, and Aubrey's sister glutted the thirst of a vampire. It was vampires the whole time.